ओके जी, बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। सबसे पहले मेरे तमाम देखने और सुनने वालों को बहुत बहुत सलाम। और उम्मीद करता हूँ कि आपका रमज़ान बड़ा अच्छा जा रहा होगा। और आपको मालूम है कि इस कोविड-19 के अंदर जहाँ पे सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग और आइसोलेशन है, तो उसको हमने अपॉर्चुनिटी में कन्वर्ट किया और हमने एक सीरीज़ ऑफ जो है ना नशिस्त का आगाज़ किया, जिसको हमने तरबियत का नाम दिया। और इस नशिस्त के अंदर हमने डिफरेंट टॉपिक्स रखे और जिसके अंदर हमारे जो की नोट स्पीकर्स प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर अतर साहब और डॉक्टर मोहम्मद अली हमजा थे, और जो कि हमें हर हफ्ते में 2 दफ़ा ज्वाइन करते हैं और डिफरेंट छोटे-छोटे टॉपिक्स को हम अपने दोस्तों से शेयर करते हैं और उसको अपने एक्सपीरियंस और अपने मालूमात और अपनी जो भी हमारे पास नॉलेज है, उस बेस के ऊपर हम अपने तमाम दोस्तों के साथ शेयर करते हैं। हमने सोचा कि क्यों ना इस तरबियत के सेशन को हम समंदर पार ले जाएं और साथ ही साथ इसको हम इंटरनेशनल लोगों को भी बुलाएं, जो कि ऑलरेडी अपनी लाइफ का बड़ा हिस्सा कोचिंग और डेवलपमेंट में गुजार चुके हैं। जैसे कि आप तमाम लोगों को मालूम है कि तरबियत और कोचिंग का बहुत बड़ा रोल है, क्योंकि आपको गाए बगाए किसी न किसी टाइम पे आपको मेंटर चाहिए होता है, आपको कोचिंग चाहिए होता है। आप अपनी ज़िंदगी में डिफरेंट रोल अदा कर रहे होते हैं। कभी आप किसी के कोच होते हैं और कभी कोई आपका कोच होता है, और यही लाइफ है जिसके अंदर गिव एंड टेक का सिस्टम चलता रहता है। और आज हम लकी हैं कि वी हैव आवर ऑनरेबल स्पीकर टुडे, डेक्लन कॉयल। वेलकम डेक्लन।
Hello, Shazad. How are you? And how is everybody in Pakistan?
Yeah, Declan, everyone is good, and I'm hoping everything is fine at your end. Everyone is good at Ireland.
Yeah, I was working this morning on a PowerPoint, a green platform PowerPoint, and I sent it to about, but they just kept coming delays in it with redoing it, and it's just gone via WeTransfer. But I think it might be better just to speak directly to the people,
I
Shazad.
think it would be fine, no issue.
Yeah,
I think you can talk directly on that. So Declan, because we still have 10 minutes to start, I'll just
yeah,
give you a brief what we have been doing during this pandemic, COVID-19. We thought of utilizing this time as an opportunity. So we come up with the idea 3 T's. We
yes,
use time,
yeah,
technology, and talent. So
brilliant.
we have been doing different series of sessions, which include nutrition, which include consumer demands and the trends and preferences changed during this COVID-19. And we were doing some workshops on the aqua, and we were doing on the dairy. And this has been given us a big opportunity to bring all people together, because everyone is locked down at their home. And by using these technologies and using the time and the talent, we are building up a very good series of knowledge sharing among each other. And parallelly, we started with the support of my 2 teachers from my university. One is Professor Dr. Atar, and other is Dr. Muhammad Ali Hamza. Both are the motivational speaker as well. So we take them on board so that they can tell us. And we picked up very small topic, let's say the dream, the passion, hard work, thanks. So we have been discussing these topics twice every week. And we share with different people that what generally it means, because we believe this fact that life is very beautiful, but it becomes more beautiful when you have good friends and when you have good people around you, when you have a positive environment with you where you talk about the positive things, and at least you get some of the positive things from those discussions. So that has been we have been doing, and we have been successfully running these shows, and this is very now famous in Pakistan. We have good followers on YouTube, we have good followers on Facebook, and the recorded versions are also available so that people can review them later on. And we're also getting very good questions and feedback, which help us to formulate the next session. So keeping all those things in mind, we thought of like taking this advantage of this opportunity, and we invited your kind self so that you can also help us how these green platform helps the professional in their development. So I welcome you again for this show of Tarbiyat. And I'm sure those who are listening me and those who are watching me, they would enjoy this session today.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Shazad. And it's a great privilege to be here. And yeah, the areas that I'd like to look at today, we'll start at 11, but I'm just fascinated by, from a start at all of this study of the green and red platform, I'm fascinated by the mind, our minds, and when you see a situation like this we have now, it's that somebody once said to me that what happens people when they get extremely wealthy, Now, I don't think it's a huge challenge for us all at the moment to have to face that prospect. But what the man said was that people who are miserable and mean and nasty before they get wealthy are miserable and mean and nasty after they get wealthy. And he said people who are caring, compassionate, kind, and positive before they get wealthy are caring, compassionate, kind, and positive after they get wealthy. And, you just say, how about people when a pandemic hits, And it almost, it's like the nasty people get nastier, and the positive people get more positive, more creative. The people who are the victims on the red, they get more evidence to say, I should sit on my hands and be a victim. I can't do anything. Or the positive people say, what an opportunity for creativity and possibility and looking at our minds. And, what I discovered recently about the mind is that very often, Shazad, the mind is like, it's like a motor car. If I drive it down the road, but if I don't steer it, I'm in big trouble. Now, the same thing with my mind, that if I don't steer my mind, I'm in big trouble. So if I take, say, my arm here, and I can put up my arm here and put it back down on the desk, and something, it stays there and it won't move until I move that arm. But my mind is totally different. I use the mind to do something, and then I put it down, and then it's almost like it has a mind of its own. It takes off with all of these stories and everything, and you wonder, and you're not, it's running you. And it just to come back and breathe and be aware of that is the big breakthrough. And that when that happens on the red platform, it takes off. And it goes, we can drive for 2 hours on the road and not remember a part of the landscape because our minds be going. Even something, I would say, Shazad, like, my challenge is always the shower challenge. Can I actually get into the shower in the morning before I go to work, or when we used to go to work, and have that shower and be in the shower without being, what happened yesterday? Was I in the shower? And all the stories that have gone around in my head. Now, this is a time, I think, a great opportunity to review that and look at our lives. And it's almost like a retreat to come back and say, okay, this computer here, if it doesn't work sometimes, what do the IT people always say to us? Reboot it, shut it down and start again, Now, I think, Shazad, this is a time to reboot our minds, to become greater leaders, because we're going to come out of this anyway. So we can come out of it, victims or victors, we can come out of it bitter people or better people. We can come out of it, disformed or transformed. And it's a huge opportunity.
I really agree with you because it's we who has to drive and it's we who has to care what to do. And of course, this is an opportunity to do the self accountability and reboot ourselves. And we are the only best judge in the world who can see that what are the areas that needs a clear cut improvement and how we can improve ourselves. This depends on us. Just to start formally, Declan, I'm wearing my green so that you can see that I'm representing I am representing the. So you're also wearing your green. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. So, guys, I think that we are just on time, so we are going to start. So, formally welcome you all, especially the Declan Coyle. And you guys know that this is the series of Tarbiyat sitting that we have been doing twice a week, and the objective is to share and to learn from each other and to make this time best possible, so that if we are thinking of doing something better, so we can collaborate with each other and we can learn from each other. And this is the real time to improve ourselves, to utilize the time in best possible way, and to come up with the new ideas and to new innovation. The best thing which we learned during these sessions and during this pandemic time was adaptation, and how we can adapt to the circumstances. That is very, very important. So guys, without taking further time, I welcome Declan Coyle. Let me give you a brief about Declan. Declan Coyle is our teacher, is our friend, and he's a director of ethnic communication and one of the Ireland's most international experienced leadership training and development consultant. He also much work on the many levels of life, which help from his revolutionary green platform principles and thinking. Declan is a member of the Irish Institute of Training and Development. He holds two master degrees and different programs that he has learned during his life. He regularly addresses and inspires the senior management teams and CEOs in companies across the globe. And if I list out the name of the countries, I think it's he's covering all the globe. Let's say Ireland, USA, Canada, Brazil, UK, Holland, France, Italy, Hungary, Ukraine, Vietnam, Hong Kong, Singapore, China, Philippines, and Australia. I think only Pakistan is left where he has to come. So today he has joined us through online sessions. So we are grateful. So his main training program focuses on leadership development, strategic planning, team building, sales team development and nurturing, communication and presentation. These are the areas which he generally talks. But what I personally like, because I know him, it has been now 13 or 14 years with Alltech. So since that time, I have been knowing Declan, and we are lucky that we always get a lot of inspiration from Declan. So he touches the normal life. And the one thing which I like the most is keeping ourselves motivated, keeping ourselves inspired. The only thing that we can do by having these two things is experience our own self. And till the time we don't become positive, we cannot seek the positive either from person or either from the environment. So the good thing is take the good things and test them at your own, and then you will realize them how best they are. And of course, when I first time learned the green platform, and I thought of it is a great opportunity for us, because being a Pakistani, we bleed green. So the green has a very great impact on our life, and I understand. So we realized those things, and I tried those things practically on myself. When you get up early morning from your bed and you start thinking that what are the good things that you have to do, you have to make the note for those good things, and then you make your day align accordingly. Trust me, all your energies, all your positive thought goes towards those things which you think positively and you want to accomplish in a day. So I think self-realization and analysis of your own personality, it's always help you to get your desired goal. And we also believe in this fact, risk often leads to opportunities, and this is currently we are facing a risk, and definitely we all are here to share and to give a hope, because 2020 as a team we decided that we tag this year as new hopes. And still I am having a very positive hopes, and I have a very strong belief that this year would be coming with the new hopes. The only difference would be the adaptation. You have to manage yourself, you have to manage your conditions. And one thing which I was reading about Declan was, of course books are the good source of knowledge, but your surroundings matters a lot. So those who are reading good books, they should also care for this fact that the surrounding also matters. So it's we who has to decide what surroundings or what company we are going to carry, because that has a great impact. uh, Identify knowing yourself or identifying your talent is also another important thing that we should be knowing about ourselves. The most important thing which I learned in my experience, and I'm sure we will be learning it through today's discussion as well, reframe your thinking process. This is very important. And if we continue doing that thing, we will be reaching towards the destination that we fix for us. And at least know your responsibilities, that if I, as a colleague, as a boss, as a leader, as a father, as a brother, as a child, whatsoever role I'm playing, if I'm well aware about my responsibilities, I can handle them well and I can respond them well. So it is also important that no healing without feeling. So whatever we do, it must have feeling, and any situation that we are passing through needs feeling. So Declan, before handing over to you, I welcome two of our renowned motivational speaker here. One is Professor Dr. Attar Mahmood. He's chairman of Poultry Department, University of Veterinary Animal Sciences, Lahore. I am proud that he is also my teacher, and he's teacher to many of the people who are listening and watching us today. We have Dr. Muhammad Ali Hamza. He is assistant professor and business management guru, and he's also a well-renowned person. And he has been a part of this Tarbiyat series, and they would be joining us in today's panel discussion. So, guys, let's warm welcome to Declan. Declan, stage is yours.
Thank you, Shazad. You know, it's a great privilege and an honor to be here speaking to all you esteemed people in Pakistan. And it's a perfect fit for the Green Platform. Pakistan and the Green Platform go hand in hand. And it's a great, sometimes we need reminders or triggers to get us on the positive Green Platform. One man up the north here in Ireland said, I have outside my shower in the morning, I have 3 green shower mats. And when I get up in the morning, he said, my head just fills with a pile of negative thoughts. And then I go in and have the shower, and as if I shower them all away, and I step out on the green mat. And I make a commitment to stay on the positive Green Platform for that day. But last week he said, there was no mat. There was a red mat there. And I called my wife, Sarah, and I said, Sarah, where is my green mat? Oh, they're in the laundry, she said. You have a red one there, it'll do you. No, it will not, he said. Bring me the green mat. I don't care if it's wet, because he said, that's my trigger for the day. And then that night, he said, I have a green toothbrush. And when I brush my teeth, I always come to 3 things I'm grateful for the day, so that helps. But just to start, the Green Platform, I suppose, the beginning of it was a man called, the idea I got for it was from a man called Viktor Frankl. He was a great Austrian psychiatrist who was tortured in Auschwitz during the Second World War. And he was my visiting professor in Ottawa, where I was doing my postgraduate studies. And he told me, they tortured me, they broke my body, they did operations on my genitals. But he said, there I discovered the last and the greatest of the human freedoms. And that is the freedom to choose my response in any given set of circumstances. So he said, every day in Auschwitz, I was happy, he said. Every day I felt good, because he said, that is the last and the greatest of the human freedoms, to choose my response. They could break my body, he said, but they couldn't touch my spirit. That was mine, my power to choose. And every day I made a choice. Now, the external circumstances were horrific, but he said, I had to make a choice. Was I going to let the memories of the past and the external circumstances define who I was going to be that day? Or was I going to be defined by my vision of the future? And he said, I had a vision of standing on the stages of the world, telling people this should never happen again. I had a vision of my beautiful wife, Tilly, that I would see her again. And he said, every day I did it one day at a time. Every day in Auschwitz, I felt good and I was happy. I didn't have the when then syndrome, he said. When I get this, then I'll be happy. That too is a virus. You know, I said, it's not the external conditions that make you happy. Be happy now, and then you can change the conditions. So that was the first, Viktor Frankl. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space, I have the power to choose. And I can choose, I wanted to flesh it out a bit and make it more practical. So one day at traffic lights, I saw subliminally red for stop, green for go, and green for Pakistan. So I said, okay, let's create a red platform. And I have my white space. I can choose a red platform or I can choose a green platform. If I choose the red platform, I choose to be the victim, the whinge, the whine, the moan, the complain, the poor me. And underneath that platform, there's a septic tank of sabotage called fear, false evidence appearing real. And there's fear, there's panic, there's self-doubt. And on the red platform, I live by the hormones of stress. And that creates, in my body, it creates fear, it creates that hormone cortisol, and that weakens my immune system. But if I go back to my white space and I can choose the green platform, on the green platform, I have the 10 most powerful words in the English language, no word more than 2 letters. If it is to be, it is up to me. I have responsibility, the ability to choose my response. I can make it happen. On the red platform, I'm a victim. On the green platform, I'm a creator. On the green platform, underneath it is the field of all possibilities. I choose to live with passion, to be innovative, to be creative. I choose actions that bring joy to others. I go with the flow of life. I'm one with life. It's a huge, we create and manufacture most of our own suffering through our resistance and non-acceptance of life as it is. It shouldn't be like this. And you can even practice with small things like the weather. I know people, and I'm upset. What's upsetting you? Although it's an awful day, the outside weather influences their inside weather. And it's that if I can see what's unfolding in front of me now, and know that they tell us there's about 13.8 billion years of conditioning in that event that's unfolding in front of me now. Now, I have on the red platform, I resist that event that's unfolding in front of me now. And I create panic and I create all kinds of inner suffering. On the green platform, I allow it and I ask the question, how can I respond to this moment with loving service, with joyful loving service, and not go into it shouldn't be happening, it's here, but I have my ability to respond. So practically, did anyone ever say something mean to you and you react and say something mean back? You go unconscious. You're just a bunch of predictable reflexes being triggered into predictable reactions by people, events, and situations. When you react like that, and in the back of your mind, you're thinking, now they know what it feels like to be hurt. I'll give them a dose of their own medicine. But has that ever helped the situation or the relationship? But if I can take my time, if I can activate my inner observer, my alert noticer, the alert watcher, the witnessing consciousness within, and observe that, and I can make a choice. I can choose then, I won't bite that hook, but I can choose kindness, I can choose compassion, I can choose understanding. And that makes the whole difference. And it's the same thing when we become conscious and make conscious choices with conscious awareness. It changes our lives totally. I'm driving down the road. There's somebody, it's a narrow 2-lane road, and I'm in a hurry to go to work. And there's somebody driving at 30 miles an hour in front of me. Now, I get angry, I get upset, I blow the horn, and I do all kinds of things like that. That is unconscious. That is no awareness. That's just pure reacting on the red platform. But I have the green platform. I can make a choice. I can just, I can relax, just release it, let it go, and become aware, and just say, even have fun with it. Now, that man or the woman who's driving in front of me at 30 miles an hour, they're doing, now they're up to 32, they're back down, they're doing well. Just have fun with it, because if I get mad, if I get angry at that moment and get upset and get emotional, in business we do cost benefit analysis. It's 100% cost, it's zero benefit. But if I can keep my inner peace, keep my inner clarity, then I am practicing becoming a great leader. Because a great leader keeps inner clarity and inner peace and inner harmony, regardless of what was happening outside. Mark Lyons tells a lovely story about his dad when a lot of the same planes were falling in number. When Mark was a child, out of the sky, there was different difficulties with them, but they were coming into Chicago, and the pilot said there was a problem with the undercarriage, and that it was, and everybody was panicking around them. And Mark said to his dad, Dr. Pierce Lyons, he said, "Oh my, what's going to happen? What'll I do?" And his dad just said to him, "Mark, just continue reading your book." Now, that was the inside controlling the outside. That was a man who had inner peace, inner harmony, who didn't lose it. Now, the plane landed smoothly, and the plane, an emergency like that, or this pandemic, are the same thing. The great leaders drop inside, and they have inner peace and harmony, and they have creativity, and say, how can we use this to become better people? How can we use this? On the red platform, at the end of this, we'll become very bitter people. And that's a choice. On the green platform, we become better people. On the red platform, we're disformed. On the green platform, we're transformed. On the red platform, we're transfigured. We're disfigured on the red platform. On the green platform, we're transfigured. On the red platform, we're victims, and we choose to be victims. On the green platform, we're victors, we're creators. Now, one thing that great leaders do in a situation like this is to make a decision. Whatever happens, we are not going to be victims by default. We're going to be creators. We're going to see, on the red platform, I see we look at something like stories. A fact has no meaning, an event has no meaning, a situation has no meaning, a pandemic has no meaning, unless I make up a story in my head about it. So my question is, why do you make up a story in the red platform that makes you feel bad, like this is a disaster, when I can make up a story in the green platform that makes me feel good, like this is a great opportunity? So this is a time to become better people, to see what are the opportunities, what are the different ways in which we can work. You know, I remember Aidan Connolly wrote an article a few weeks ago in the Currency, and he said, can you use this time at home to learn a new skill, to become better at some computer program? I think we're all learning to use Zoom now. I hear Annette here, my wife, who's the other director, and I don't know how many conversations we've had about how to use Zoom and to do PowerPoints in Zoom and all that. But can we learn a new skill? So stories, an event has no meaning. Like, you know, Shakespeare, Hamlet said in Shakespeare, said that nothing is either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. And Milton said, the mind can make a heaven out of hell or a hell out of heaven. And Epictetus said, in Rome years ago, people are not disturbed by things, but by the views, the stories they make up about them. So my question is why? Why, when something happens like this pandemic, do we make up a story on the red platform that makes us feel bad? And this empowers us, when we can make up a story on the green platform that makes us feel good and empowers us. Now, where attention goes, energy flows. And energy flows where attention goes. Our true superpower is where we choose to put our attention. So a small example, we have intention and attention. So attention energizes. I can put attention on my big toe now. My attention, my right big toe. Now, when I add intention to that, I can energize, I'm going to wiggle my big toe. Intention energizes. But when we link intention with feeling that Shazad was talking about, when we get that feeling, then we have the power to transform. So it's during this, where do I put my intention? I can put my attention and intention on the pandemic, on the news, on all that's going to go wrong, and activate fear and panic. And that will activate the stress hormone cortisol. And that's going to weaken my immune system and have a counterproductive effect, send me to a hospital where the already overloaded people are going to be in trouble. But if I focus and put my attention rather than that on what will build up my immune system on the green platform, what are the things I can do? What are the creative things I can do? And we know that if we look at something like acts of gratitude, they've done the studies that 4 days of 10 minutes a day of gratitude, the neuroscientists have shown us, will boost our immune system by 50%. Now, what are we grateful for? If we just look at the things, and in Pakistan, you offer so much gratitude. 5 times a day you offer gratitude. So that is a huge boost to the immune system. So it's gratitude, the power of that. Then we have positive thoughts and feelings. I think where I have a negative thought, I pivot, I switch it to what's a positive thought. But it's not just mere positive thoughts. It must be connected. The positive thought must be in harmony with my body, it must have congruence. A man phoned me, he sent me a text a few weeks ago and he said, Declan, I'm scared. I'm very, very scared. And the reply I gave to him was something like, okay, if you're scared, that's fear. And fear, like every emotion, is a choice. So you can walk out the edge of a cliff, walk out on the ledge, look down miles below at all those sharp rocks, and your knees shaking, feel fear. Now, so long as you stay there in that position with that picture, your body is going to, the fight flight is going to kick in. You're going to feel the fear because fear was originally a way to protect us. But instead of spending your time there, why not, the antidote to fear is courage. Why not have the courage to turn around, back a few steps, walk in and see that beautiful garden that's behind you and see all the things you're grateful for. But I cannot go out when you're standing on that ledge, looking down with that horrific picture in your mind. That's what you have to get rid of. And when we turn on the news is very much to sensationalize. We need a bit of the news to keep up, but we don't need all those bad news stories. Because when you have a pandemic like this, the fear is, oh, we're all going to die. No, we're not all going to die. And it's just, how do I handle that? So positive thoughts and feelings that are genuine, because you cannot pour pink positive paint over human suffering. You feel it, you feel it fully. There's no healing without a feeling. Then we have exercise. Our bodies feel better when we get exercise. And 20 minutes to a half an hour exercise a day will make an enormous difference. And even if we have only a back garden, if we're in lockdown, wherever it is, we can, even in a floor, we can take exercise. So that will help us. The other thing, they did a study in Harvard, and they found that most Americans were suffering from what they called cultural ADHD. It's that they're all good around with shallow breathing, an iPhone in one hand and a Starbucks in the other, coffee, and they were all high tension, high stress, high nervousness. Now, they said that the antidote to that was meditation, that if they could just breathe deeply, breathe slowly and follow their breath, get out of that shallow breathing because this is a time for creativity. If I'm rushing through an airport and I'm being, frisked down and I'm trying to make a plane, I cannot be very creative at that time. Creativity happens in quiet, in silence, when I can reflect and come up with new ideas. And this is a time to activate that and to breathe and to be more at home in our bodies. Then we have acts of kindness. They did studies where they found that when they put on the electrodes and all the rest on the brains, the person who received an act of kindness, there was an explosion of all the happy chemicals like the BDNF, the serotonin, the dopamine, those good endorphins exploded in the person who received the act of kindness. Then the same thing happened to the person doing the act of kindness. And the same thing happened in somebody even observing the act of kindness. So there's a number of things we can do to boost our immune system, because we are at our absolute best when we get beyond ourselves, when we get out of ourselves. Me is the soul's song of sadness. But you is the soul's song of joy. How can I help you? How can I serve you? How can I reach out to you? And they're just some of the, the stories and where attention goes, energy flows. Do I put attention on the fear, the pandemic, or do I put attention on things that will boost my immune system, create a better company, a better team at this particular time? That's my choice. So they're the stories. Then we have questions. On the Red platform, I asked toxic, disempowering questions. And disempowering questions, it's 100% certain I'll always get a toxic, disempowering, negative answer. So disempowering questions would be, why me? What else is going to go wrong? What did I do to deserve this? Why do these things always have to happen to me? Well, it's 100% certain you'll get a toxic poison answer. Why you? Because you're a slob, because you lacked early life love, because your mother loved your sister more than you. But I didn't have a sister, but if you had, you would have. Now, if we can switch platforms, make a choice, step onto that green platform and ask power questions. And the power questions are, how can I, what can I? How can I turn this around and enjoy the process? If I had a man who was a trainer the other day and he was on to me and he has done a lot of training through Zoom, and I said, how do you do it? And he said, well, remember the first workshop you ever did with us, you said to us, on the Red platform, I say, I can't do this because, and I come up with 100 reasons why I can't do it. And you're absolutely right. But on the green platform, we say, how can I make this happen and enjoy the process? So on the green platform, the question is, how can we make the best of this lockdown time and enjoy the process? How can we become happier, more creative, more joyful, more innovative people in the process? How can I be the best version of myself today so that those around me can flourish and shine and be the best that they can be? How can I fuel every moment with the best that's in me now? How can I get into the 20% of my activities that will deliver 80% of my results? Because we know 20% of drivers cause 80% of the accidents. In an area in Italy, Pareto said years ago that 20% of the people there owned 80% of the wealth. 20% of our houses contains 80% of the rubbish or the garbage. 20% of our clothes we wear 80% of the time. And so 20% of my activities will deliver 80% of my results. So we can ask, how am I focusing on how I was using my 20% and how I can continue to use my 20% and focus on that? Then we have strengths. And again, studies around the world, we ask people, how are we, the company, using your strengths? And 83% said, no, the company are not using my strengths. Now, this is a phenomenal thing, because when you look at it, most middle managers are spending the morning, teaching a hen to swim. But swimming is not a hen's job. But they're a committed manager, and then they spend the afternoon, build a hen gym and get the hen doing all those swimming exercises. Still, the hen is no good at swimming. Then he gets in a personal trainer and, come on, hen, and this motivation from the outside, 11, 12, no, still the hen is no good. Do 360-degree feedback. It's not just me, but everyone says you're okay at laying the old eggs, but you're useless at swimming. You must improve your swimming. The hen goes out depressed from the PDR, the personal development review, and the manager is depressed. Then they get this man who wrote a great book called The Green Platform and another one called Living the Green Platform. Get him in to work with the hen. So he says, come on, hen, you can do it. If it is to be, it's up to me. Get a good vision in the morning. How can you be the best version of yourself swimming and make that happen? Get rid of him too. because he's useless as well as everyone else. And then one fine day, we discover a duck, and a duck swims. Swimming is a duck's job, laying eggs is a hen's job. But all over the corporate world, we have Mozart milking cows. We have Michelangelo minding sheep. Mozart should be playing music. Michelangelo should have a chisel and a hammer sculpting, or even a paintbrush. So this is a time where people are saying, oh, we lost a lot of jobs. We've lost jobs. Maybe those jobs were meant to be lost, because they did a study across the States again, and they found that people who were not happy in their jobs went home and were nasty and mean to their families, and their children became the bullies in schools. Now, if we could track back and get people, you know, Dr. Pierce Lyons, in one of his great speeches to about 3,500 people in Kentucky, he finished it off one day and he said, connect to your why, connect to your purpose. Purpose powers passion. Connect to that why inside you. He said, don't die with your music still in you. He said, do what makes your heart sing. Now, I think this is a great opportunity for us all to see, what is it that I love to do? Because when Bonnie Ware did that study, the 5 regrets of people who are dying, when she did the study, the number one regret was, I wasn't who I was meant to be. I didn't live to my potential. I lived a life, I didn't speak up with my own voice. I lived a life that was not the life I wanted to live. That was their major regret. So now we've an opportunity maybe to do that. So there, another question then is, it's how, like when we look at that, and how am I working out of my strengths? The other question is, how can we take our company and use this to get more aligned, to have clarity? Because when you see the wild geese flying in V formation, one in the slipstream of the others, they're 71% more efficient than they fly as individuals. So can we look around our team and say, okay, to get everybody right, we have the big picture, total clarity, and then current reality down here, total clarity. And everyone's small picture, total clarity. Because when I look across the corporate world, the things that are missing are clarity and alignment. They're the two things that just total clarity, total alignment. So everyone is totally clear. They're totally clear on the what. What is my role? What are my goals? My what is totally clear. I have no doubt about what my what is, what my job is. So everyone knows their what up here, then everyone knows their why. And their why is more important than our why, because 80% of the energy to achieve a goal comes out of the why. Everybody knows the what, the why, everybody knows the how. And you know, once you have a powerful why, you will create the how, but everybody has the ability. It's not Mozart milking cows, it's Mozart making music. Everybody knows the time frames. We have the end where we want to get achieved, and we have progress review dates built in, because what gets measured gets managed. Everyone knows is working out of their strengths. Everybody is working out of their 20%, and everybody is focused. Every month we have this big 50x goal. What is the big goal that will exponentially increase the value we give to our customers and increase our sales and increase our profitability? So that's that 50x. Time to be creative about that. What is a 50x opportunity? And then everybody is focused on, just for today, being the best version of myself. Because when I get up in the morning, if I'm on the red platform, the familiar past becomes a predictable future. And if I always do what I've always done and always get what I've always got. So if I get up in the morning, and instead of the brain firing and wiring those old neurons from yesterday, I start off with a proactive dream and vision of the future. If I start off, what's the best version of myself today on the green platform, so that those around me can flourish and shine and be the best that I can be. Now, the minute I say, okay, What are the things I need to do to rehearse? Every athlete knows this. Every high performance athlete knows this. You rehearse mentally beforehand. Can I rehearse my day? What are the choices I'm not going to make? Am I going to complain? Am I going to say do it later? I'm not going to. Am I going to blame other people? No. How am I going to proactively make this the best day of my life so that those around me can flourish and shine and be the best they can be? Now, once I start doing that, my frontal lobe does a scan around the network of neurons around my brain and starts finding ways in the landscape of the brain to make that happen. If I don't do that, yesterday, I repeat yesterday, and anybody who ever changed history, changed it because they had a dream of the future that was more real, and the feeling of that dream was more real in them than the external circumstances or the past. You remember Martin Luther King, when he gathered those 500,000 people at that monument in Washington. And Martin Luther King, like every great leader, his dream was more real than the current reality and the memories of the past. He broke that. The inside was stronger than the outside. And his inside impacted the outside and so many. He didn't say, if he was focused on the external environment and the past, he would have said, I have a complaint. I have hundreds of complaints. I have thousands of complaints. I have millions of complaints. Let me start with the Ku Klux Klan, with the buses, with the restaurants, with the different stores. No, he never went there. External reality and the past. He went to the future. I have a dream. I have a dream. And lest we forget, he kept coming back to that mantra. I have a dream. I have a dream. So we get up in the morning. Our dream becomes more real. I have just this one day ahead of me, and I'm going to use it. If you look at the mind is an incredible thing. We can use the mind to take metals out of the ground, put sand with them, create silicon, send a spaceship up to the moon or back. The mind can do incredible things. But my arm here, if I'm not using my arm, I put it down and it doesn't do anything. But my mind is different. When I'm using it, it's great. And my mind is like a car, a motor car. A motor car is a great vehicle if I steer it and drive it down the road. If I don't steer it, chaos. The mind, when I put down my arm, it stays down. When I put down my mind, it has a mind of its own. It goes on, it has all these other stories. Like a woman saying to me the other day, like I met Susan down there, I was walking past and I said, hello, Susan. She didn't respond. And then I started, well, why didn't she respond? What's up with her? Am I invisible? She doesn't like me. This is the same as primary school. I was invisible then. And there's a whole story goes on, and she meets Susan 3 days later and you found that Susan's husband had just died. But you see where our mind took her, that now this pandemic, if we're not proactively using our minds will create horror stories and activate cortisol, weaken our immune system, and make us not fit for leadership. So the great leaders because we have 3 steps on the green platform. The first is acceptance. It is as it is. I cannot un-is it. And I'm not going to create and manufacture my own suffering through my resistance and unacceptance of life as it is. I can even practice with the weather. I see so many people get upset with the weather. It's too hot. It's too cold. Like, I don't do cold weather. The weather is not going to change. If we can say the weather is fine and don't let that story activate inside. John O'Donoghue down in Clare in the Burn, a beautiful area in County West of Ireland. It was a beautiful day. Bees were buzzing, butterflies flying, breeze coming in from the Atlantic. And he said to her, Mary, isn't that a beautiful day? And immediately she replied, yeah, but what will it be like tomorrow? Because she wasn't going to accept the present day as it was. In her mind, she had another story. And that is why she had such a miserable face on her. So it's the story she was telling herself inside. Because if we can get the inside right, there's a phrase they use in Africa. If there's no enemy on the inside, the enemy on the outside doesn't matter. So the step one is acceptance. Then plus PAN, P-A-N, because acceptance on its own can drift into indifference or apathy. But it's, how can I see this moment unfolding in front of me and respond to it with joyful, loving service? And not start saying it shouldn't be like this. Shouldn't, wouldn't, couldn't. No. How can I respond? What's the one positive thing I can do? Of the 100 things, what one positive thing can I do? And then what's the next right thing I can do? And the next right thing. And then I get momentum. And then the whole universe conspires with us. It's like going down a corridor. When you move, Providence moves too. You meet the right person, the right event, the right situation. And that's how we can use the green platform in these situations to create a new life. Because on the red platform, I'm a victim. On the green platform, I'm a creator. And look at Shahzad there. And look at this meeting we're having this morning. This is pure creativity on the green platform. Okay, let's look at what's possible. Let's make it happen. And he starts and he brings this whole new group together, a whole new community together. If we didn't have the pandemic, we wouldn't have the richness we're sharing now. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Yeah, thanks, Declan. Now, because we have our renowned speaker with us, so I would be requesting Professor Dr. Attar, so he can ask some question and he can give some comment, because that's the way we want to have interactive session among us.
Thank you very much, Shahzad and Dr. Declan. I'm very much impressed by the story which you have told to us. Shahzad wore the green shirt and you showed the green wrist. So I had with me this to show you the flag of Pakistan, which contained all the green. So this is the representation on behalf of all my colleagues. I'm showing the flag of Pakistan so that everybody must know that we are also very much advocate of this green platform. Dr. Declan, I am very much impressed by your profile, that the leadership development and strategic plannings and team building, whatever you have told us, all things are very much impressed me. My simple question is, leaders are born or they are created or they are both?
I would say it's totally both. It's nature and nurture. I think everyone is a leader. Everyone has the potential for leadership. It's that the great leader, the leader in the past, hacked away through the jungle and said, "Come, follow me." That was the model we had of leadership in the past. But now the leader today creates other leaders. And if I look around the talents in every team, there's a program called the Enneagram that we do, and it's an age-old system about 9 energies we have within us. You'd have very quickly, like 1 is the perfectionist, attention to detail. 2 is the helper, to be into relationships, helping, reaching out to others. 3 is the achiever, about achieving success. 4 is the creative artist, is about creativity and being special and doing extraordinary artistic work. 5 is the intellectual, the logical person. They just want to do research, be left in their room and don't disturb them. And they like to do a PhD, and when it's finished, they like to do another PhD, and then they discover universities, and my goodness, I can teach there and do my research. Wonderful. 6s are the loyal skeptics. They'd be the engineers, the detectives, they'd have the questioning mind. Yes, but what about this? Now, they wouldn't be negative because their energy is in their questioning mind, and they love processes, and they love manuals, and they write manuals, and they'll be very good at that area. 7s are the optimists, the visionaries. They're out in sales, and they're going here and there, and they have this very alert mind. And, when they're unhealthy, the ideas go through the mind like a strainer. When they're healthy, they maintain the ideas, but they're full of opportunities and life, and they have to be out on the move. Lockdown is extremely difficult for 7s. Then we have the 8s, and they'll be the challengers, the leaders. They'll be head of a production plant. They don't suffer fools gladly. And They love verbal combat, but don't be fooled by these big tough 8s, because inside they're soft as marshmallow. And 9s then are the peacemakers. They just want peace and harmony, big picture, don't disturb me. Now, on my team, like if I want research, my 5 is my leader. If I want a good process or plan or manual, my 6 is my leader. If I want a creativity and graphics, the 4 is my leader. If I want great customer care, the 2 is my leader. If I want somebody to take a project and make it successful, then I turn to a 3. So I think that, number one, we have this natural ability to be a leader, but it's nature. But nurture, and whereas training is, we say, okay, here's in your particular area, Mozart can be a leader in music, but not milking cows. And I think we can train Mozart to be a leader in music. We can never, ever train him to be a leader in the cow byre. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think now Hamza is there, Dr. Hamza. So please, you can continue with your question, your thoughts, and your sharing to the session.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Shehzad, and I'm so grateful to Declan to spare time, grateful to Dr. Athar and all the participants who are here. Declan, I absolutely endorse the idea of green platform. I do not have the flag, but I do have the green highlighter with me. And through this highlighter, I highlight different things that push me toward positive thoughts and pull me out of the negative thoughts. And I keep, highlighting things with green highlighter. So yeah, green works out. So you have covered a diverse range of topics in your very short span of time. Definitely, there is a saying by Schopenhauer, a philosopher, who said that the world is your thought. So yes, what you think, that's your world is. Therefore, working on your thought makes more sense, because if you inculcate and inject the positive energies or positive approach toward life and toward the universe and toward the environment, that brings positivity. And therefore, all the great leaders always encouraged the inside victory first and then the outside victory. So it's from inside to outside. Absolutely agreed. Whereas I understand from your last discussion of red platform and the green platform, it has some commonality with the blue ocean strategy and the red ocean strategy. In red ocean strategy, we kill the competitor. In blue ocean strategy, we come above the competition through our innovation and ideas. So if organization wants not to get into competition and kill the competitor and do not want to, make the ocean red, they can reach out and they could think of new ideas that can take them out of the competition. So there are some similarities between the red-green platform and the blue and red ocean. I will just start my first question. As you mentioned, the 9 traits of individuals that nature provides, or that DNA or the genes provide us. Alongside, Howard Gardner talked about the multiple intelligences, the set of multiple intelligences. He mentioned 7, and then there was an 8th, environmentalist. And on the other hand, there is a grid leadership model by Blake and Newton. Now, the grid leadership model talks about nurturing the behaviors in certain situations of the life. And the multiple intelligences focuses on realizing and identifying the best intelligence you have, and do not let other intelligences die, but let them complement your main intelligence. How do you see the connection, and how can it help?
Yeah, you've covered a huge amount there, and that's you're absolutely great question. You're 100% right. The green platform would be very, very much blue ocean. It's because a lot of the work that Simon Sinek has done, and he talks about infinity thinking. Where we think, how can we make an impact on the planet, and for eternity, like, something that's going to go on, that's going to last. Whereas the other finite thinking is, how can I blast my competitor out of the water? So it's collaboration. The problems in the world are too great now, but if I focus, number one, on myself and our company, how we can be the best that we can be, and so the only person I'm competing with is the people we were yesterday. How can we be better today than we were yesterday? And you don't have enemies, you don't have competition at that level. And with the intelligences, it's, again, you're absolutely right. I have one major one, but the others all complement it. It doesn't mean I have, like, if I'm not a 6 now, and the 6 would have a lot of fear in the gut or doubt in the mind, and to come up with processes to keep them safe. But if I'm walking down a dark alley and somebody's walking behind me, then the 6th energy rises in me. If I say, would you like a cup of tea? That's 2 energy. So they complement each other. But I think that this is a great moment to see how can we create a new and a better future. And I love the Alltech idea that Mark Lyons has now of creating a planet of plenty. It's big. It's not, and he keeps saying it's not about competition anymore, it's about collaboration. We cannot achieve a planet of plenty without collaboration. And what can I bring to the table? What can you bring to the table? And how can we help each other? And it's a strange thing that the more we help each other, the better we feel ourselves. So they're, number one, love the green highlighter, and I'll have to get you a green, a special band with the green platform, my choice. It is all the energies together. But the big thing, if I look at, we used to have, just very quickly summarize, we used to have IQ, and people all thought, oh, IQ is where it's at, And then they got into EQ. EQ is emotional intelligence. And that system, the Enneagram, the personalities, that'd be all about emotional intelligence. Because before I did the Enneagram, the 9 energies, I thought there are 2 kinds of people in the world, people like me and people who desperately should be or want to be like me. And to my horror, I discovered that the person beside me has a totally, utterly, radically different view of the world to me. And he's also valid and right. So emotional intelligence, awareness of myself and awareness of others. And the more I can bring this awareness in of emotional intelligence, the more I can lead a team. The third one that they've seen now that has made the biggest difference in terms of productivity in companies is what they call the positivity PQ, positivity quotient. And that is, they've done the studies again across a whole range of different companies in the States, in Harvard study. When people are positive in the present, productivity goes up 31% and sales went up 37%. So that's pure green platform, positivity in the present. Sales, productivity goes up 31%, sales goes up 37%, and doctors were 19% better at correctly diagnosing illnesses. And when in the States, the average is 40% of diagnoses are misdiagnosed. So that's a huge jump. But it's that sense of that this positivity, when we bring that, and if you look at the other side of that, a CEO in the States asked me, he said, is this green platform not all just touchy-feely stuff? He said, what's it got to do with the bottom line, with profits, with share, with money? And I said, okay, do you want the research on the red platform? He says, yeah, but it must be genuine research, not just Mickey Mouse research. I said, with the Harvard Business Review in 2014, the May edition, page 62, would that work for you? Absolutely, he said. Okay, the cost of negativity the year before to the economy in the United States was $500 billion. If I have $1,000 bills in my hand 4 inches high, I'm a millionaire. That was $1,000 bills in my hand 38 miles high. That was the cost of it. So everything about being on the green platform, it's good for the individual, it's good for the company. And the big thing, if you look at Warren Buffett and Peter Drucker, what they said here was culture will eat strategy and plans for breakfast. Our challenge as leaders today is to create the culture that's positive, that's solution oriented, that's can do, that is full of positivity and creativity and innovation. If we create that green platform culture, that's our highest ideal as a leader.
Hamza ka mic open करिएगा बस.
Yeah, Declan, absolutely right. We can, I think, engage more people if anybody is interested to ask a question. But to move on with that, you know, it's a dice, right? I got a dice. Dice got, you know, 6 faces. So when we roll the dice, one number appears. But I realized that on the red platform, we always expect 6 here. But on a green platform, when we get 1, we realize that we got something at least. So I think rolling the dice to the maximum distance, that's the trick we need to understand, so we can play with most of the possible chances of having a number. So I would like you to please comment on, you mentioned emotional intelligence. That's wonderful. Goldman has absolutely worked on it, and it's an emerging area. The Goldman talks about the 4 stages or 4 steps to move on to emotional intelligence: knowing your emotions, handling your emotions, understanding others' emotions, and managing others' emotions. How do you, because this is one of your area, that is neuro-linguistic programming, how does neuro-linguistic programming connects to emotional intelligence?
I think there's a huge link, because it's the reframing, you know, the feelings. If you look at the emotions, it's that, and how I feel, because go back to Maya Angelou, she said, people won't remember what you said, they won't remember what you did, they'll always remember how you made them feel. So people with high emotional intelligence are able to tune into other people and make them feel good. So it's that, you know, feelings follow meanings. So it depends on what meaning I give to something. And then I get that good feeling inside, because I go back then to that, the fundamental thing is, go back to the when then virus. You know, it's that everything we do to feel good. Everything we do to be happy. And when I think, I can't wait till this pandemic is over and then I'm going to be happy. It's the opposite. It works that if I can feel good now, be happy now, if I say, I want to get a new husband, I want to get a wife, I want to get a car, I want to get a house. And most people live their lives in the hormones, under the hormones of stress. I'm waiting until I get the house and then I'm going to feel good. You know, rather than feeling good now, and you create the conditions outside. So it's having that feeling. Now, NLP, the power of NLP is about reframing. It's that instead of having a situation that makes me feel bad on the red platform, I can reframe it. Instead of saying this is a disaster, I reframe it as this is an opportunity. So NLP works very well there. NLP also works very well on the green platform, and having, in terms of your goals, having your goal ecological. By ecological, I mean that everybody, all the stakeholders know it and will support me. If I'm newly married, 3 young children, well, not so newly married if I have 3 young children, but, and I say, my goal is I'm going to run a marathon, and I'm going to train, I'm going to go running for 15 miles every evening after work. Now, that's an individual goal. Is it ecological? When you go home and you put on your running gear and you go out the door and you have a wife screaming after you, I've been with the children all day, are you not going to give me a hand? That's not an ecological goal. But when you have a goal where you can say, okay, there's a babysitter coming in or there's somebody else helping, and we can go out running together or something. So NLP is very good in that area to bring, you know, I studied with Dr. Richard Bandler, the founder of NLP, and I'd have huge respect for the work he did. A lot of the green platform would be making NLP very accessible without a lot of the heavy language. I said to him, Richard, come on. neuro-linguistic programming. Like, come back, the basic thing, any clown can make something simple complicated, but it takes genius to make complicated stuff simple. Where do you come up with that neuro-linguistic programming? And he looked at me and he said, okay, I could have used a title like, use your brain for a change. But when I want to get it into the universities, if I said, I have a program called Use Your Brain for a Change, they say, get out of here. But when I say I've got a program called Neuro-Linguistic Programming, they say, oh, Neuro-Linguistic Programming 101, that's great, bring it on. So that's what I'm thinking about it.
Very, very true. I mean, the phrasing and the expressions help you to sell out your idea. Actually, people are always interested in something new, even if it's just a word. So yes, over to you, Shehzad.
Okay, thanks, Declan, and thanks, Hamza. I think we have a few participants on the Zoom meeting, so we can just quickly have their sharings on the session, and they can have a quickly question from Declan. Then we can close because we are running short of time. So I would request Dr. Hanif Nazir Sahab, Ubaid, please open his mic so that he can ask a question so that we can move on. I think still we have a problem in listening to Dr. Hanif Nazir. Okay, we'll be coming back to Hanif Nazir once his mic's things get over. We have over here Uzair Abdullah. He's a part of Alltech A team member. So I would request Uzair to come up with a good question from Declan.
Thank you, Declan. It was surely a nice session, and I'm sure we will use a green platform for the betterment in this pandemic for ourselves and for our company as well. I don't have any specific question, but we will use this green platform for our betterment of ourselves.
Okay, that's a great finding.
Thank you.
Okay, Ijaz, Dr. Ijaz.
Hello, Declan. So that was a great presentation about the learning from the green and the red platform. So my question here is just that how will you help us to keep learning this green platform in this pandemic when everyone is sitting at home? So learning this and acquiring this green platform for the betterment of us. So how you can teach us here, or how you can say us that we will keep learning this platform throughout our life for a successful life as well.
Yeah, I think that in terms of learning the green platform, we couldn't have a better time or place to learn it, because if I can stay on the green platform, live on the green platform at home with my family, when you have all kinds of cabin fever, where you have children who are not, and there's all kinds of pressures coming on, if we can do it, because the green platform, go back to the source, it was discovered originally in Auschwitz in a concentration camp. And that's where Viktor Frankl got the power. I later developed it into green and red platform, but it was there. But if we can, like, something happens and you find yourself going to react. You know, a woman was telling me the other day, she was driving again down the road and somebody cut her off and she was really going to get angry. And she noticed herself. She became aware of herself and she made a different choice. And she said that changed her whole life. So if in our family, somebody says something that upsets us, instead of reacting, if I can get into that, become the noticer and choose my response, choose kindness, and go down to my heart space and send love to that person, send care, send compassion to that person. And if I can do that and practice it, because like Schopenhauer talked about our thinking, and we have Descartes said, cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. And I would say, no, Descartes, you're absolutely 100% wrong. I observe myself thinking, therefore I am. We're not that little bit of our left brain up here. B.F. Skinner, the psychologist, he said, man, woman, we are the sum of our learned experiences. And I would say, no, that's the mind. The mind is the sum of our learned experiences. But who I am is the person observing that, is the inner actor, the alert watcher inside. And if I can watch myself and use this time and practice, because somebody said to me the other day, like, I didn't get on so well at the Green Platform today. And I said, okay, you start playing the piano. You will not play the piano like Mozart on the first day. You practice and you practice and you practice. So you practice the Green Platform, practice choosing your response. I'll just give you a quick example of Genevieve, her daughter, when she was 4, I was putting eggs in the fridge. Now, when the subconscious will not process a negative. If I say to you, don't think of a white rabbit, don't think of a polar bear in Alaska, don't think of the flag of Pakistan, the images come there. The subconscious won't process not don't instead of without. So I was putting eggs in the fridge, and Genevieve said to me, Daddy, I want to help you put the eggs in the fridge. And I said, no, Genevieve, they're very delicate, they're very fragile, I put them in myself. She said, no, please, Daddy, I want to help you put the eggs in the fridge. I said, okay, well, be careful. I said, just don't drop them. So on cue, what did she do? She dropped the 2. And I was about to react. Again, the bunch of predictable reflexes being triggered into predictable reactions by people in events and situations. And at the last moment, my alert watcher, I observed myself and I was able to choose it instead of the natural reactive giving out that every generation of our family reacted to children who dropped eggs on the floor from we dropped eggs on the cave floors when we were cavemen and cavewomen. So I broke generations and I made a choice. I made a conscious, aware choice. I said, Genevieve, isn't that a very interesting design on the floor? Do you think she would take a picture of that and show it to Mammy? When I was automatically being thrown onto the red platform, the way I was conditioned, I made a choice. And I saw that little small green platform and I managed to get onto it. Those are the moments, that is the ultimate in spiritual breakthroughs. And we have the absolute best laboratory we have for learning green platform tools is locked down at home. It couldn't be better.
Thanks, Declan. We have 2 more questions. So I go back to again, Dr. Hanif Nazir. So, sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So go ahead, sir.
Declan, it was, I think, very good explanation of the time. What do you think the personal health and particularly the mental health reflects on choosing green and red platforms?
Oh yeah, absolutely 100%. They've done all the research that if you choose the green platform, and you choose they've done all the research that number one, if you choose the green platform, you're choosing growth, gratitude, giving, that when people are on the green platform, like acts of kindness, the immune system is boosted. There's an explosion of all those happy chemicals in the body. The same thing with they've done the research that positive thoughts and feelings strengthen you, negative thoughts and feelings weaken you. And when I do work with football teams and basketball teams and hurling teams and that, I do a simple kinesiology exercise, put out your arm like that, and then I get just tested parallel to the floor. Then I get the person to think negative thoughts and the arm goes down. Positive thoughts, the arm stays strong. So positive thoughts and feelings strengthen you, negative thoughts and feelings weaken you, because every thought has a chemical component. Deepak Chopra used to often say, I remember one day he said to me, he said, happy thoughts, happy chemicals, so the positivity helps our immune system. It's again, simple things like exercise. When we, on the green platform, we take exercise, we look after our body, we do have good nutrition. And I was doing a program with farmers here in Ireland last week, and I'll send you the pyramid. We did 2 pyramids to show the red platform pyramid, green platform pyramid. And we started with the soil, like with bad soil and aerated soil and good soil on the other hand. Then we started with the nutrition for animals. Animals get good nutrition, animals get bad nutrition. Then we start with the food, healthy, nutritious food over here that's natural, and then this toxic, processed, high sugar food over here. And then the effect that has on type 2 diabetes and on heart disease and everything. And at the top, we did the mental, you know, red platform here, green platform there. And the effect on health is absolutely enormous when we get that ecological thing. And they've done the research again that when you have people, it's extraordinary that people will be eating a very good diet, like carrots and lettuce and seeds and all the rest of it. And, you know, they'll be doing their exercise, but they get all kinds of disease because they're stressed. Stress is the biggest creator of cortisol that lowers our immune system on the red platform. So living lightly in the morning, if we just say 4 things, you get up in the morning. Today I'm going to live in a joyful, energetic body. I'm going to have a loving, compassionate heart. I'm going to have a reflective, alert mind. And I'm going to live life lightly and radiate healing and health and good energy to people. Absolute massive difference. And whatever happens, I have a much better chance of handling it on the green platform. And the other thing is that a virus, if we look at a virus, I had a lady on the other day, she said, I have cancer. And I say, okay, you have cancer, you're in the hospital, but I can tell you, the real you inside, the alert watcher, that can never get a virus. Your body has a virus, but you haven't. So you keep yourself positive, creative. And she said, that made all the difference.
Thanks, Declan. I think this is a good take point that happy thoughts is a happy chemical. So there is a surprise today, Declan. We have one of the very loving person with us, and of course, she's my mentor. And today, what I am, just because of her, she has been treating me and she has been guiding me throughout my career. We have a Goda Govind with us, and I welcome you, Goda Govind, over here. And I request to Beth, please open the mic of Goda. So I want Goda to come up and tell us that what you're going to ask and what you're going to tell us on today's session.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Shehzad, for inviting me for this wonderful session. Declan, as ever, it's a pleasure to listen to you. And every time I read about Green Platform or I talk about Green Platform, it reminds me that more and more we think of it, we tend to be more on Green Platform. And it's more than ever before, we need to be on Green Platform now, because with all the extreme turbulence, this is more than ever, we need to train our brain to be on the Green Platform. And thank you so much, Declan. It was really a pleasure to listen to your talk. And especially I enjoyed the question and answer session. I think there were some brilliant questions. And I really like the quote of leaders are both born and made. Nurture and nature makes a big difference. I really enjoyed that. And thank you so much for all the efforts that you're putting in making people get on to the Green Platform more and more. Thank you, Declan.
Thank you, Goda. It's a privilege. And just maybe to wrap up, I was talking to a very good friend here. He went through a lot of challenges in his own life, and he's bounced through them and everything. And he said a sentence at the end of the chat the other day, and he said, in the midst of this pandemic, he simply said, Declan, this is our time. We were born for this time. And I thought, 13.8 billion years, and we've arrived here. This is when we will be the best that we can possibly be. this is our time to shine. This is our time to create a totally new version of ourselves. And to wrap up again, we have the choice. At the end of this, there's going to be a recovery. We're going to come out of it. And we'll come out better people, not bitter people. We'll come out transformed, not disformed. We'll come out transfigured, not disfigured. We'll come out not as victims, but as absolute victors, creators on the green platform.
Thanks, Declan, and thanks everyone. Before we are just closing this session, I have 3 take-home messages for myself. I'm sure this talk was full of learning. There was a lot of sharing, and there could be a lot of pickups from this, and everyone can do it as per its own. The 3 things which I feel very important is, first of all, feel it and mean it. This is very, very important, because
No, absolutely.
It's very important that you have to develop your feelings, then you can mean it, and then your energies, your thought, everything goes toward the positivities. And if you have right thing to feel, you will definitely get the better response as a person. And the second important thing which I feel out of is, we have to be curious. Our curiosity should be very high, because all the environment, all the circumstances that we are facing today or even tomorrow are going to come. The best thing will keep us away from this is, we have to be very curious. And that curiosity brings the innovations, and then we can learn from it. And then that's the best way to share and pass on your passion and energies to your teammates and your colleagues that you are working with you. And third, the most important thing I personally feel is the clarity. The clarity and alignment. The more we are having the clarity, the more we can do to get things done, either as a team member, as a colleague, as a teacher, as a family member, whatsoever your role is. If you have a clarity on your role, then you can do the alignment. Then you can build up all the positive ways and the resources you can use in the best way to bring up the results. So the last thing which I want to say at the closing, with the thanks to everyone, guys, we all are given with the chance and the choice. Let's make the difference. Thank you very much, and see you soon again with some interesting topic. Stay at home, stay safe. Thank you very much, Declan. Thank you very much, all the colleagues. Thank you. See you. Goodbye.
Stay safe and healthy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.